What was Alan wearing?
Hey guys, today we're talking episode 8 of The Traitors, or maybe The Cheaters, I don't know, according to some people.
She was hilarious.
And we also have some Love is Blind coming out today as well, so
we post
be on the lookout for that.
That's right.
But let's talk about episode 8.
We got some Farmers Wants a Wife coming up in a few weeks as well. Here.
Yeah, that's around the corner as well.
Yeah.
So,
and hey,
it's murdering time.
And before we talk about episode 8, hey guys, we love y'all. A lot of people watch this, and please, when you do, hit that like and subscribe button, because that helps us out, so we appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. But it's murdering time, Billy.
It is murdering time.
And we got no Boston Rob anymore, so it's just Carolyn and Danielle at it.
Yeah, and it's funny because, when people are starting to come in, they're just coming in ones at a time. And I'm like, what the hell? And here's where freaking Tom, man, what a moron. Like, Sam had a great idea, right? Sam was like, dude, every time somebody comes in, let's ask him what's his name was wearing.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that's a great idea. So everybody's like, yeah. So then they're like, hey, Carolyn, she comes in. Hey, what was he wearing? And Tom's like, oh, he was wearing this. And they're like, shut the fuck up,
Yeah, he's
Tom.
like helping her out, like.
And Carolyn was like stumbling all over, right? She's like, black. And then Tom's trying to help her. And everybody was like, oh, she did good enough. And it's like, what?
Yeah, it reminds me of someone playing Taboo and someone's yelling out the answer. You're like, you're not on that team, man.
Right, yeah, exactly. So like she did not at all answer the question, but like for some reason they're like, yeah, she did good enough, and nobody's got it. Looking at her now, I was like, this is crazy, man.
So I was a little confused whether she actually did know what Alan was wearing or not, because she says like, oh my God, it's going to come down. I forgot what he was wearing. I'm like, well, did you forget or did you not know?
Yeah, who knows?
So, and I wonder if the show thinks that stuff through or not. Or like, oh shit, we left a gap and this show's getting ready to get broken.
Right, maybe.
Because Sam's going to come up with it. I mean, I think that's fair game if that's what happens.
Yeah, and I think that idea was a great idea, but then later Sam just goes to shit, so.
Yeah, and the first two people to come in is Britney and Danielle. And then Britney's like, I'm putting all my trust in Danielle. Yeah. So, and they're becoming pretty close.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, any thoughts of those two?
I'm ready to see those two get broken up, just like everybody else on that show is. I think everybody's kind of like, we got to break those two up, and I'm kind of the same way. I don't like Danielle, man. She needs to be gone. Like in my mind right now, all the faithful are friggin' morons. They're all idiots. Like it's very plain that Danielle is a traitor at this point with all the stuff that's happened, and nobody's bringing it up, right? I mean, they try to bring it up, but they bring it up just barely, a little bit here and there. It's like, how about put all that shit together and come up with one good big argument, right? And nobody's doing it.
She's made some bad moves earlier, and so, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
And Carolyn's just kind of going with the flow,
And that's the funny thing, dude. Like, so we see that, it was Chrishell that got killed, and Chrishell's like, oh my God, Carolyn's just playing an amazing game.
Yeah.
It's like,
she did say that.
No, she's not. She's just that freaking dumb at the game and just that bad of a player that it just doesn't seem like she'd be a traitor.
But it might work out for her in the end. So is that actual bad gameplay though? If she actually stays under the radar, actually murders some people.
I mean, the only smart move in Carolyn's part right now is like, later on whenever, Danielle decides, potentially who she wants to bring in, and Carolyn's like, hell to the no. That's a smart play on her part. But other than that, Carolyn's gameplay has been horrible.
All the people start coming in. They're all the safe people. And then some of the people at risk start coming in. I think Tom was the first one. And then it's down to Dylan and Chrishell. And I was like, oh my God, man. Are they going to get rid of Dylan?
Oh, dude, I know. And we talked about our last episode, man. We're like, dude, if they get rid of Dylan, this show's going to go so much farther downhill. So I'm glad they at least kept him. I just hope he gets his crap together, right? And starts getting on the right trail again. I mean, he was on Danielle's trail early in the game, and then he just kind of fell off. And it's like, dude, Dylan, you need to get your game back and start using your brain and freaking figure this stuff out.
Maybe he's not that bright without having supporting cast, because he was always kind of guided by someone at the same time.
Yep.
And now there's no one there really to do that.
Well, except with Bob the Drag Queen. That was all his idea in the beginning. He ran with it, and he did good. He finally got other people to buy in on it. Whereas now we see later, he's like, oh, I'm just voting with the crowd. This sucks, right? So he needs to come up with a plan and stick with it and keep pushing it.
So what'd you think about Chrishell being eliminated, though?
Yeah, I mean, I agreed with why they eliminated her. She is too faithful. It's pretty obvious that she was not a traitor, and nobody believes she was a traitor. So, you might as well get rid of people like that because they're not serving any purpose, right? So, other than just because they're not going to get voted off. So it's like, well, might as well kill them off. So that's one less person on the board.
Yeah, and she didn't act too surprised when she saw who the traitors were.
No, she didn't. Like I said, but she acted surprised with Carolyn. She even said so. She's like, Danielle.
Well, I mean, her actual face and physical
yeah,
reactions,
right.
she was just kind of standing there, and then she said, "Wow, I didn't expect that." But
she's like, Danielle didn't surprise me at all. It's like, well, no shit. How about you should have freaking spoke up a long time ago about Danielle when y'all did earlier, And she's like, Carolyn, that completely surprised me. And I was like, yeah, okay, well, it's because Carolyn just, like I said, Carolyn just kind of, it's not like she's playing a smart game. She's just playing a game she's not great at and just keeping her under the radar. So it's working out. So
so Chrishell gets the axe. So, I mean, just glad it wasn't Dylan. That's
exactly.
Anyone else besides him, I would have been like, whatever, for the most part at this point.
Right. No, exactly.
So people are starting to zero in on Ciara after this, though.
Yeah, and here, because Sam brings it back up. He's like, look, we need to go back to the coffin thing.
That damn coffin has gotten so many people eliminated.
And Ciara's like, bro, I'm telling you guys, you don't need to go back to the coffin because I'm a freaking faithful. But here's the thing. Ciara does a horrible job defending herself, and not enough jobs throwing shade where it needs to actually go. And that was kind of killing me about her this episode.
And you got to plant the seeds early because once the dynamic happens where names thrown out there, then people pile on because they want to feel safe. So it's like, okay, well, we're going with them. Cool. It's not me, so let's go with that.
Yeah, I mean, Danielle barely mentioned or. Ciara barely mentioned Danielle again, mentioned the whole Jeremy thing, but that's it. There's so much she could have piled on and planted a seed early, in that day on. But look, Danielle freaking voted for Jeremy. He got murdered. Danielle, how about that day where we played that game and she got 2 times to pick somebody with a shield and never picked herself. And then we called her out on it and she kind of like stumbled over her words on it. There's so many things they could pile up on Danielle here that they're just nobody's doing, and Ciara had the perfect opportunity to do it right there and she didn't do it. So.
Yeah, and I mean, the coffin thing is kind of interesting because they already eliminated 2 people that were in the coffin. So they just are like, a traitor had to be in the coffin. Ciara's the only one left, so she's got to be a traitor.
Oh, yeah.
And I will say, she also was defending Boston Rob like she was a traitor.
Right.
That was a little suspect how hard she defended Boston Rob because no one should be going that hard to defend Boston Rob.
Here's the thing, though. Dylan was kind of defending Boston Rob too, and when they finally voted him out, everybody was like, "See, Dylan, he pulled the wool over your eyes." Tom said that, and everybody was like, "Yeah, man," because they all believe that Dylan's a hardcore faithful, even though he was defending Boston Rob, even right. So,
well, and that's what's kind of interesting too, because Boston Rob's a traitor. He was going after Britney. Now, who's kind of like throwing Britney out there? Ciara and Dylan are throwing, and it's like that was Rob's pick.
Yep.
And he was a traitor. So do you think he's going after another traitor?
No, but remember, it was Rob's pick because it was originally Derrick's pick. So remember, because Dylan told Rob.
But they just saw him go after her hard in the round table. That was the only person he was like going after.
Right.
So they saw that heated exchange and like, would he do that to another traitor again?
Right.
And I don't think they're thinking that part through.
No, I think you're right. Maybe
I mean, it's at least worth considering.
Yeah, no, it is.
So, and then Ciara is kind of focused on, like I said, Britney to get the heat off her at this point. But
Danielle a little bit too.
Yeah, both of them because they're hanging out too much.
Exactly. Ciara's like, she's like, that duo needs to be broken up. She's like, they're both game players, and she's like, it's not good. And she's like, I think one of them's a damn traitor.
The Big Brother team.
So, and she's like, one of them is a traitor. She's like, and maybe both. So.
Yeah, so it's mission time, and then they separate, and only one group can win a shield, and one person this time.
And then here's where we see that maybe Dylan's not Mr. Rock, Paper, Scissors like he thought he was because he loses his Rock, Paper, Scissors and doesn't get on the...
That's true. That's true. I forgot all about that.
Doesn't get on the winning team because to go do the little dollhouse. So
yeah, and they got to guess the nursery rhyme here. Yeah. So they go out to the cabin.
I will say I thought this one was kind of cool because, man, those nursery rhymes hearing them backwards is just gibberish.
Yeah.
I mean, for
That would have been. I'd be like,
dude.
I don't know what to think.
So,
of any of this
and
stuff.
Tom was trying to like sing it all back to him, and I was just rolling. I was like, holy shit, this guy.
Tom was the only one working
He
it.
was. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Tom single-handedly saved this thing.
Oh, he did. Totally. Yeah.
I love where he goes to the phone and he's just like shouting stuff, and he's like, Ivar, here. And then Alan's like,
Ivar's just holding the phone.
Yeah, Alan's like, what the hell are you doing, man?
He's like,
who are you calling?
He's like, he told me, he's like, be a man, do your own thing.
He's like, who are you calling? What are you doing on the thing?
What are you doing, Ivar? Who are you calling?
I don't know. He just told me to...
Put the phone down, go back. Don't be bullied by Tom.
Okay.
Be your own man, Ivar.
That was hilarious. But yeah,
be your own man.
People were making fun of Tom initially, but he got it done.
Oh, he did. Well, even afterward, like, even Britney was kind of making fun of him. Like, she's like, if I get voted out, at least I got the memory of Tom trying to sing this shit in my head.
And it was kind of an interesting challenge. I mean, it was tough in my eyes, and like even finding the shield because it was in the bear on the outside. I think everyone was focused on the inside of the cabin. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it was just by pure luck that Ciara saw that bear, and she was like, "Oh crap!" It means I able to get that shield, even though I guess it really doesn't matter at the end of the day if you get voted out, right? So,
yeah, I mean that's why she needed to really survive this roundtable because she had that. So
exactly.
But yeah, as we see, that doesn't really work out. Yeah. But what did you think about this challenge this time?
No, like I said, I thought it was a cool challenge, man. I thought it was. I thought out of all the ones, this is by far the most difficult because you're trying to say all that crap backwards, and then not only do you got to say it backwards, they've got to understand you saying it backwards enough to where they can go put it in that record thing to where at least it pops back enough where they can at least get one or two words out, and they get like, okay,
yeah, you got to like relay it twice before it's ran backwards.
Exactly.
So
now here's what I hate right now about every single challenge. As we saw in this one, we've seen with all plenty in the past. They spend over half their time looking for the shield, right? Everybody does. And then, like, all of a sudden it shows like 5 minutes left. And then, like, in the last 5 to 10 minutes, they're able to complete the challenge. That's horseshit. It should be either you spend your time finding the shield and you're going to miss out on money, or, or you focus on the money and you might not find the shield. But being able to get both every single time, with like, it's always by the skin of their teeth because of editing. But I think it's garbage.
I mean, I do like the show. I like the setup, but these challenges, they solve them every time. Yeah, exactly. Like they're not losing really. I mean, they have lost the challenge. I think it was the one with the rooms that they lost. But I'm like, they're too easy.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And it's not they're too easy. It's that there's too much. How about cut 5 minutes off the clock then? Instead of giving them 30 minutes, give them 25 minutes. They give them way too much time. You're giving them enough time to complete the challenge and get the shields. Shouldn't be that way. So it's either one or the other, or half the money in the shield or something. But you shouldn't have enough time to be able to complete everything every single time.
And
they should cut time.
The shield really should cost you money, and
exactly.
And you might be safe from the traitors, but like people should be mad that you took the shield and want to like cast you out at the round table. That should be kind of like the penalty. Like, look, man, you're costing us, so I want you out, what traitor or not.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, maybe they're trying to like differentiate it from the mold too much too, especially if like traders were like trying to sabotage things and they could earn money. That doesn't happen here, so maybe they're just trying to differentiate it.
Yeah, but I think they need it from now on, in every freaking, going forward every season. You need to cut at least 5 minutes off that clock and don't give them plenty of opportunity to be able to get both. That's BS, at this point. So, I mean, they just have way too much time to complete these. And like I said, the editing always shows them completing it by the skin of their teeth, but it's like, really, how did that all work, so...
But anyways, we get to the round table, and it's getting spread pretty thin. Like people are spreading out at the table at this point.
A lot more elbow room at that table.
Yeah.
Kind of like we have today because Ashley's not here. So
yeah, exactly. But yeah, what I don't like too is a name's just thrown out there, and then just people pile on.
Yeah, because it ain't them, right? So they're safe. And as we see. They're wrong again. Like they're horrible, man. There is so much evidence against Danielle where they should have been getting her out. Ciara has done really nothing wrong aside from and like they even threw Ciara's attitude has been the same through the whole game. Ciara is Ciara. She's her own person, and it's like Nikki flat out told them when she got cast out, right? She's like, you guys, cast me out because of my attitude and kind of who I am. She's like, look, people are people. They are who they are. Don't freaking focus on how they're acting necessarily. And that's exactly what they do with Ciara. Oh, well, you were in the coffin and you said, F you, traitors, and blah, blah, this and that. And that's exactly what someone would do and all this. And Nikki's like, dude, Ciara's like, bro, that's me. You guys know that's how I act. And people are like, okay, yeah, that is how you act, And then they're like, oh, but maybe the guys, forced you into the box. She's like, hell no, I ain't letting 2 dudes force me into a box. If I want to freaking go into a box, I'm going to go. If I don't, I won't. And the attitude she's shown this whole show is that is the type of person she is. She's not going to let anybody just freaking, browbeat her into freaking jumping into a box. So, like, all the stuff they were using against her, it was like, nah, man, that's just her personality. That's how she is. And you all even admitted that's how she is. So, it was just very weak, man. It was very,
I mean,
very
I
weak.
don't think it's necessarily a bad pick because the odds of a traitor being in the casket, I think, are pretty good. And the way she was defending Rob, but I mean, I'm just amazed that Danielle somehow gets a pass because of her slip ups, and they don't even bring it up. They bring up other stuff that I don't think is as damning, but
right, exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, the freaking Faithfuls are playing a horrible game right now, and like I said, that's why Dylan needs to step up and freaking stop following the crowd again, and actually start really thinking and using his damn brain and getting stuff figured out. So.
I also wonder if they need like more penalties for people not getting like the traitors out because
there should be. That's true.
If a faithful gets eliminated and I'm another faithful and it's not me, does it really impact me that much?
No,
especially early on, maybe in the end game, but like early on, it's whether a traitor goes or a faithful, as long as it's not me, it doesn't really matter.
That's just no matter what, it's less people I got to share the money with at the end, right? So
so. Yes, but the round table, Tom, this is where Tom throws out like the cheater thing, which is kind of hilarious.
That was awesome.
And people
women are totally like, we've seen women are better cheaters. And that whole table was
more
like,
likely to cheat. And they're like, ah.
Girls are better cheaters than guys just because they have better social skills.
That came out your mouth?
Oh my God, I said cheater. I said traitors. Sorry.
And Tom's like, oh shit, sorry. He's like, I meant traitor. He's like, look, okay, obviously guys are cheaters. And they're like, yeah, no kidding, Tom. We know you.
Yeah, and of all people to kind of say that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, so it's really Danielle, Britney, and Ciara are on the hot seat for this round table, but obviously Ciara more than anybody.
Yeah,
but
again,
Ciara's trying to
she did a horrible job defending
misdirect
herself, man. She did a horrible job defending herself. She should have pushed more dirt on Danielle, and she didn't. She said, she was like, look, guys, I'm a faithful, so, whatever is basically what she said. And then she's like, Danielle did vote for Jeremy, or Jeremy was putting Danielle's name out and he got murdered, and then like she didn't pile on after that. That was all she said.
Yeah, I think Tom was shaking his head. But the other thing is like she had no backup in there. No. She had no one come to her aid. Really.
Well, because she wasn't giving anybody any reason to come to her aid. She wasn't putting enough out there about Danielle to really get people to say, damn, you're right. She did do this and she did do that. All she said was a Jeremy thing. So you're going to take a hell of a lot more than that. Danielle's done so much screwing up. There's plenty of stuff to say about her, so freaking say it. Yeah,
and this is where I think that social game helps too, because if you had someone else like also piling on, and if people are unsure how the votes are going to go, then maybe that impacts somebody.
Exactly.
But things are pretty clear here because when it comes down to voting, this is, I think, the most overwhelming one we've had. Like everyone except for Ciara, obviously, voted for her.
It was unanimous this time, exactly.
Yeah, so, and she's not a traitor, so another faithful. Not too surprising for me this go round. Who they chose and how it went down.
Well, then here's the thing, too. Danielle, and here's the thing where somebody should have spoken up. Danielle's defense. She's like, look, all the people that they got voted out, Derrick and this person and that person, they were all very close to me. Why would I murder the people that got murdered or whatever? Why would I murder them? They're all very close to me. It's like, that'd be a good traitor thing to do, but nobody said that, right? Like nobody said, you know what? Hey, actually, if you were a traitor, murdering people who are very close to you would be something good to do because it'd throw a freaking shade off of you. Right, but nobody bothered speaking. And Ciara should have said that. As soon as Danielle said that, Ciara should have been like, "Yep," and that is a very awesome thing that a traitor should be doing, right? So, but she didn't.
Yeah, I think also what's telling about this is like Gabby and Carolyn voted for Ciara as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Gabby was listening to Ciara the whole time talk about Britney. She obviously couldn't even convince the person that was kind of close to her. Yep. And then Carolyn is very suspicious of Danielle. But she still voted because she probably didn't think she had the numbers.
No, she knew she didn't have the numbers.
Yeah, exactly so she didn't want to stand out and tip her hand.
Had there been enough shade on Danielle and enough people that could potentially would have voted for her, she would have done it. But obviously there wasn't, and she knew it.
Yep.
So in that minute, she did play smart. She played it smart right there.
Yep. So Ciara gone, banished from the house. And then the boys are in the little secret room talking. And then Danielle and
And the
Carolyn
two
come
traitors.
into the bar area. And the boys are thinking now it's like the two traitors are female, probably.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of, and even the women are saying that, the boys are saying that's going around, that it's probably two females. And everybody seems to kind of be in agreement on this. But, the funny thing is the boys are in that room talking, and then Danielle and Carolyn come in and chat. So they hear them. So just Dylan walks out, and then Carolyn and Danielle are like, what the hell's going on? He's like,
that's very sus.
Yeah.
Which I guess is good.
And then Derrick was kind of acting sus when he sat down. I mean, not Derrick, but freaking Dylan. He was kind of acting sus when he sat down to talk to him. I was like, dude, why are you acting all weird right now?
Well, it doesn't really matter because it was the two traitors, but
Right,
like
yeah,
it was just
exactly.
awkward overall,
Yeah.
and no one was talking.
Yeah,
Everyone was like, awkward.
Yeah, but those two traitors can go tell the other women, hey, the boys are in the room, and Dylan came out, and he was being super sus about it, So, yeah, that was just, when Dylan acted like that, I was like, dude, you're kind of not playing a good game by doing that. But
Now there's three guys and 4 women, so the numbers are pretty even almost. But I think they suspect one of the next traitor has to be female because the last 2 were men.
Exactly.
And Alan's probably not going to pick 3 guys to be a traitor and no women. So
Yeah, no.
this is like the coffin thing, right? It's like the odds are, one of them's going to be a woman.
right, exactly. Yeah, hopefully they figure out this next round, man, because I'm getting, I don't know, man. It's just, I really wish the Faithful were playing a better game at this point. They're not. Their gameplay has been horrible.
Well,
And the funny thing is, the 2 traitors they did get out, it basically been because of the traitor himself, because of Rob, right? Like they got freaking Bother Drag Queen out really because of Rob, because he took Dylan's thing and ran with it, right, and talked people into doing it, and then he also dug himself into his own grave, right? So really, the only 2 traitors being called out were called out by traitors, by Rob calling out Bother Drag Queen, and by Rob just basically digging his own grave by too many people, going against him. But the Faithful have not really come up with anything on their own.
Yeah. So it's like, who's playing a better game, the Faithful or the traitors?
Traitors.
Like, the traitors aren't doing anything bold, but maybe that's the way to go. We saw the other 2 doing bold things, and that was their downfall, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
And then now we see them in the turret, and they get an option to recruit someone or murder someone.
That's right.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, well, it's funny because right off the bat, they can't even agree. Danielle's like, oh, we totally need to recruit someone. And Carolyn's like, huh? She's like, hell no. She's like, we recruiting nobody else.
Now, I think Carolyn's kind of smart here.
Oh, yeah, I think she was too. Well, especially when Danielle brought up the 2 options. Danielle's like, hey, really our only 2 female. Everybody knows.
There's no way she can allow Britney.
Yeah, she's like, everybody knows Dolores, wouldn't be good enough to be a traitor. So really our 2 options are Gabby and Britney. What do you think? And she's like, Carolyn's like, well, if we're going to bring one, let's bring Gabby. She's like, would you think so? And Carolyn's like, yeah, you think I'm a freaking idiot? Why the hell would I want you to bring your bestie? My bestie? She's not my bestie. Get the F out of here. Of course she's your bestie. Everybody sees it.
And they've been seeing too much. So, why would you not recruit a guy?
Right, and exactly. That was what I was thinking too. I'm like, they keep saying that the traitors are all women. So at this point, bring a guy in. You should totally bring a dude into this point. And if you're smart, you'd bring Dylan in because he's the only one that seems to be somewhat connecting stuff together. But yeah, it killed me when they didn't mention a guy at all.
I think all the guys, I don't think anyone is even suspicious that one of the guys could be a traitor at this point.
No, they're not.
Who would it be out of those 4?
And the guys all just had their little hoopla get together. And the thing is, the 2 traitors knew all the guys were in there chatting together, right? So at this point, it's like, cool, none of the guys suspect each other. We should bring a dude in here because they don't suspect each other at all. So, play it that way. I don't get it, man. They totally should have brought a guy in.
Yeah, and I didn't buy Danielle's, we need to bring a girl in because they suspect girls. So I'm like, well, that's not a good reason to do that because that doesn't do anything.
No, exactly.
And then Carolyn's like, there's 4 of us, so we can still kind of remain on the radar. But I do think they need to recruit someone because that gives them numbers. And that's, if they're all on the same page, that's 3 votes potentially gets someone, which is pretty powerful.
Especially when you're dwindling the numbers down.
So I think that's kind of crucial just for the votes. But I'm with Carolyn that you can't bring Britney. You can't do anything to tilt it toward Danielle.
No. I mean, Carolyn is freaking spot on with that one, dude. And anybody could see that. I mean, Carolyn ain't the smartest freaking person in the game, but she definitely ain't that dumb. So, yeah, that was.
Yeah, and there's already bad blood between those 2, so you just can't do that if you're Carolyn. And I'm glad she at least realizes that.
Like I said, if they're smart, they'll recruit a guy because all the guys right now are on the same page that it's women. and that they all think they're freaking all safe, right? So
Yeah, and I don't think it has to be Dylan because Sam. I mean, I wouldn't recruit Ivar because he's
exactly.
goofy. But I don't know if I could work with him.
Yeah,
but
I mean, Sam would be all right, I think. Tom, I don't think I'd recruit him just because
Tom could actually screw it up for everyone because I just don't trust that guy to like be smart in all situations.
Exactly.
You know? So.
Yeah, it really would be between Sam and Dylan. I mean, I would like to see Dylan be able to do it, but I mean, I'd be cool with Sam too.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see Dylan just because I would like to see how he plays it, just because he's been playing pretty open and honest, and for him to like now be devious about it, I'd love to see kind of what he does in that regard.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm worried that he could like stand out too much. Where Sam is so quiet and he says few words, so I think he's actually a better option, but I don't know. We'll see what they do. Now, I am kind of also interested. If they recruit someone, they can't murder anyone. So what is that going to tell the faithful? Like no one was murdered. It's like,
right.
Why is that?
Yeah, because some people do know that Ciara had the shield, right? So if nobody knew that Ciara was the one that had the shield, then they could potentially get away with that and be like, oh, well, the person that must have had the shield, the one they killed. But people do know Ciara had the shield, so it ain't like you can blame it on the shield. So, yeah. No, you're right. So at that point, they're going to know that they recruited someone.
Yeah, you would think.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if they're going to try and throw it off, but I would think that the faithful will know, oh, they recruited someone. So,
Right. Unless that person says no, and then they're able to come out and say, hey, look, they tried to recruit me last night, and I turned them down. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I guess we'll see. But yeah, that's a good point, though. I'm curious how it's going to work out. But I guess we'll find out in the next episode. But hey, guys, we love doing this. Please tell us what you thought about this one. Are Carolyn and Danielle playing a good game as Traitors? I personally don't think so, but I mean, they are. Somehow they're pulling it off because the faithful just aren't very good at the game, I guess, or most of them aren't. But, we love this, guys. And as always, hit that like and subscribe like I asked in the beginning, and we will check you guys at our next review.
Lord, help us all. And I believe in the Lord.